Hi, I'm Pam and I'm here to talk about retro video games. Today I'm dipping back into the compile shooters that I love so much. This one is a rare one on the Genesis. It's Musha. M.U.S.H.A was developed by Compile and released on the Sega Genesis in 1990. It's a vertical scrolling shoot 'em up. It's part of the LS series, though the North American title doesn't really reference that. And what does M.U.S.H.A stand for? Metallic Uniframe Super Hybrid Armor. Obviously. In the year 2290, the human race has colonized the solar system and relies on super intelligent computers to run space stations. Predictably, one of the computers, called Dire 51, gets a little too smart, decides it wants to rule the solar system, and prepares to attack Earth. You play Terry, a member of the M.U.S.H.A team who has been sent to battle Dire 51. Immediately upon arriving at the battle site, all of your friends are killed. The very start of the game is extremely challenging, not just because you just watched all your friends die, but also because your base weapon sucks. This challenge will come into play later on as well. Your main weapon is a Seal Cluster Beam, which starts out very weak, but can be powered up into something formidable by collecting power chips. You need to shoot chip carriers in order to get the chips. This is the only weapon you have throughout the game, but customization comes in the form of options. When you get 3 power chips, you get an option, which is basically an extra gun that flies alongside your ship. You can use 2 of these at a time and use the A button to change the formations they use. There's the basic forward formation, a backward formation, ones where they rotate around you or chase enemies. There are 6 formations in total, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. Choosing the right one can really help with boss fights especially. In addition to your main weapon, there are also 3 special weapons that you can pick up. Blazing Beam shoots a laser in front of you, and Vanishing Buster shoots bombs. Both of these can be fired at the same time as your primary weapon. Defensive Detonator is a barrier that circles around you. All 3 special weapons can be powered up 4 times. Only having 1 main weapon and 3 special weapons does make M.U.S.H.A's gameplay feel a little bit limited when compared to my favorite shooters like Gun-Nac and Blazing Lasers. It's a bit of a trade-off between the different weapon formations and 8 different movement speeds, and having access to a variety of different weapons, special abilities, and bombs. When I had the choice, I used the defensive detonator most of the time. The protection from enemy fire was generally more useful to me than extra firepower. If you get hit, you lose your special weapon. If you get hit without one, you lose a man, which is a strange choice of terminology since you play a woman. Losing a man means your weapon goes back to its base power level. It's extremely difficult to recover from this, as the rate of fire and lack of spread makes it very hard to take out enemies. Even at the very beginning of stages, including the first one, there's no real difficulty ramp-up time. The game starts throwing a lot at you immediately. You start out with 1 extra man, but can gain more by achieving certain scores. If you lose them all, there are unlimited continues that will put you back at the beginning of the stage you are on. Speaking of stages, there are 8 of them, and they're all fairly lengthy. You start out attacking the enemy's moving fortresses, which look like old Japanese buildings, traversing land and sky, then move to the insides of those fortresses. There's a great stage traveling through a lightning storm at night, and one where you fly over lava. There's an especially impressive scene of the floor below you dropping out to reveal it. The music in M.U.S.H.A is amazing! It has a totally rocking soundtrack, and this is taking me longer than usual to edit because it's difficult to decide which of the amazing tracks to use in the limited time I have. I played through Musha on normal, though there are also easy and hard modes. I tried these out only briefly, and they mainly seem to impact the bosses, as I couldn't really tell a difference in the rest of the stage. The bosses are a real standout in the game. One of the first is a moving fortress, which looks extremely cool. There are a number of face-shaped ships you have to fight, which have great looking effects, along with more mechanical looking bosses with a lot of moving parts. There's a boss that attacks you with what looks like a whip in one of the more visually impressive sequences. There's a lot of variety in these fights, and each allows different special weapons or main weapon configurations to shine. M.U.S.H.A also makes very good use of the stage space and environment. One boss has the walls closing in on you, limiting the space you can use, and there are often things shooting at you from both sides of the screen rather than just in front of you, or things blocking your shots at bosses' weak points that you need to work around. The last couple bosses in the game are particularly tough, and they also use limited space to maneuver to make things more challenging. M.U.S.H.A is an excellent game. I think Gun-Nac is still my favorite compile shooter though, just because I prefer having a wider variety of weapons to choose from and switch between, as opposed to just different formations. But other than that, I really have nothing negative to say about the game. Compile makes great shooters, there's no denying that. M.U.S.H.A has great controls, visuals, and music, and there's a ton of variety in the boss fights, even if not in the weapons available to you. Sadly, the game is quite rare and very expensive, but I definitely recommend giving M.U.S.H.A a shot if you get the chance. If you want more shoot-em-ups, check out my review of Gun-Nac on NES or KO Flying Squadron on Sega CD. I've also got a Patreon if you're interested in supporting my work. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.